UN institutions have been hijacked by undemocratic countries that seek to advance objectives that threaten liberal democracies like Israel and other peace-loving nations in the world. So there's an inherent bias against Israel at the United Nations. Of the 193 members of the UN General Assembly, only 84, that's not even half, only 84 can be called free societies with freedom of the press, with free and democratic elections. Now, this same General Assembly issues more condemnations against Israel than the rest of the world combined. The rest of the world combined do not even come close to the number of condemnations from the United Nations against this small country. In 2022, 15 resolutions were passed against Israel, and not a single resolution was passed on the human rights situation in China, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, Turkey, Egypt, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, Qatar, Vietnam, or Algeria. On the other hand, Iran, Syria, North Korea, and Myanmar each received a grand total of 1 resolution. As for the UN Human Rights Council, where this latest maligning of this country has emanated from, the UNHRC, the UN Human Rights Council, of its 47 members, only 13 out of 47 can be defined as fully economically and politically free. The UNHRC is dominated by countries that don't respect human rights. These majority voting blocs are to a large extent made up of autocratic regimes. How on earth can Israel take seriously attempts to judge it, especially by repressive and authoritarian regimes? So let me be absolutely clear, so there is no doubt. Israel rejects the vile accusations published in yesterday's report. We reject them wholeheartedly. Equating the democratic country of Israel with the terrorist murderers of Hamas is obscene, and the UN should be ashamed of themselves. Now an update from Govt and their work coordinating aid into Gaza, the usual daily reminder that, once again, thanks to the inefficient UN, the contents of over 1,000 aid trucks still currently await being picked up on the Gazan side of Kerem Shalom. So since the beginning of this war, more than 35,000 trucks have delivered 668,000 tons of aid to Gaza. More than enough food to feed every single person in Gaza. More food enters Gaza every day, indeed 80% more food compared to what was entering Gaza prior to October the 7th. So with that, that's the end of our briefing today. I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat of this call together with your news outlet. Thank you very much. First question from David Clement at the News Forum. The question is, Iraq's foreign minister has expressed concern that Israel will escalate in southern Lebanon and that the war could expand regionally. Can the Prime Minister's office comment on his concerns? Thank you for that very much for that question, David. We've made our points crystal clear when it comes to the increase in attacks from Iran's Hezbollah from southern Lebanon and Syria into Israel. Up to more than 200 attacks against this country, whether diplomatically or looking at the ways which Israel has defended itself and destroyed Hamas. We will go down one of those two routes. And I've made my points clear in the briefing, which you've just heard, so you can play the tape. Next question from TV2 Norway. Rumours are circulating online that Israel is considering leaving the United Nations following their decision yesterday. Do you have any comments on this? I've seen that report. I haven't got anything to add to that. Either way, that's not something I recognise in any way, shape or form. But I have made clear our views on the UN. The UN is a terribly autocratic regime.